APIs for Android 6 Marshmallow, the SDK platform, the image for your emulator, they're all in place now. So whatever API you need to target, you can download the API and an image for this, and accordingly you can run on that particular API. Now beyond this, if you can see, you got SDK tools here. Now in addition to the API, you also need the Android build tools. Now earlier this used to come as a part of a single screen called the standalone SDK Manager. We'll just shortly see how this is. And now this has been segregated into a different tab. And as you can see, you need some common options which are mandatory, and rest they are optional. You can download if you require, and you can leave if you not your app is not using those APIs. So we need the build tools. This is up to date. The Android platform, this is up to date. And the documentation, if you need, you can download this too. Now if you are programming for the billing library or the play licensing library, you can download these. Now one of them is the Google Play services. You'll need this if you want to use Google Apps and other services in your Android app. And then the Hexam, which accelerates how the emulator works. The Google USB driver, in case you are attaching your actual device to your to your computer and running the app on your actual device. And then you have the support repository. Now this support repository is to have a backward compatibility of newer features with the older versions. Now as the APIs have evolved, new features have come in, and in order to have a backward compatibility with the mobiles which don't support these newer APIs, you have these support libraries. Now as you can see, it already shows that there is an update available for the constraint layout, which is a new layout added to the Android Nugget. So we can add the update so that this goes to the latest version, and then you can say apply, and we can download this. So let me keep this in background. So in addition to these SDK platforms, you need to have the SDK tools in place before you can start developing your apps for the Android platform. Now if you are used to the old SDK Manager, then you can launch the standalone SDK Manager. Now this is what we were using when we started with Eclipse, when we started with Android Studio, before this new SDK Manager came in. Now this holds all the tools as well as the APIs. They all are on the same screen. So as you can see, these are the Android SDK tools. We just selected and seen that these have been installed, and now we have the APIs, API 25, then 24, then we'll be having Marshmallow. So these are all on the same screen, and as you can see, we just added these to be installed: Google USB driver, Google Play services. So in case you are used to this, then you can revert back to this using the standalone SDK Manager. So if you're comfortable with the new SDK Manager, let's go back to that. Now as soon as all updates that we selected have been installed, we can say finish, and we can restart the SDK Manager. And see whether they've been installed. Now Google Play services is installed, USB driver is installed, the constraint layout has been updated, the solver for constraint is. So whatever we selected, these all have been updated now, and say OK. And as you can see, you'll be continuously seeing such update notifications here, and if you need, you can click on this and update, and if you want to do it sometime later, you can just shrug this off. So this is how you can use the SDK Manager to keep your APIs in position before you start developing for a particular API. Now you must keep in mind the API that you have added is the API that you can target. And secondly, if you're targeting a particular API and you want to test on the emulator, you need an emulator image to be in place before you can test that on the emulator. So let's go ahead and start developing our first app.